Morning everybody, I'm in the garden today because it's a nice sunny weekend and like the barbecue later. Nice to do, bank holiday. Already fretting about the fact I'm going to miss Monday. No telly garden for me. Okay, never mind. Right, what we got for you mainly today is fuel cards and Road Warrior. A few other bits and pieces. To start off with, from last week's about other kit you can carry. Gary John Baker makes a point, you know, with your extra kit you carry, and I mean I do carry extra kit. I've got 2 spare tyres on my van because that way if I get a puncture, I know I've still got a spare tyre, which is kind of a bit overzealous. But then the amount, you know, it's kind of otherwise I might be missing out on a job. I might take me 2 or 3 days to get to the cheap spare tyre place because I tend to use reconditioned, well, second-hand tyres, which tend to be off crash victims. Crash vehicles, you know, like sort of if the lorry's involved in a crash and they've got a spare tyre, they take them off. I don't know. I mean, some people would probably turn around and say, with the amount of miles I do, I probably should have proper new ones on. But I've used the second-hand ones before, and they tend to be good makes like Michelin and Continental, and they tend to come in around the 50 quid mark. I've got one guy over in Wilson who can do me for like £25, and that's kind of finished. And I've never had any trouble with them personally, but you know, still learning. Tell me if I'm missing something, please. But yeah, so extra weight, beware of, you know, and also he says window lean and gin clear are good things to have. Now that is dead handy. Like when I'm sitting waiting to get loaded, I do tend to go to my side pocket and put that window lean, clean the windows, clean the wing mirrors. You got to drive. It's better for these kind of things. An interesting point on the weight, as I went to dump the Clio last week because it was dead. You see these signs everywhere, ASM. I mean, I didn't even know what ASM was, which is bizarre because their signs are on the roundabout at the bottom of my yard. And it's just a recycle place. It's fantastic. You bring your car in, goes on a weighbridge, and give the guy a logbook, and the guy just goes, right, that's worth that. They take it away, give you a destruction certificate, and pay you. Don't get a lot for it, but it's no hassle, aggravation. And I said to the guy, what if I want to weigh my van? And he said, do you want a printout? And I went, no, I just need to know how much my van weighs. And he went, no problem. He says, just drive in any time, queue up, put it on the weighbridge, and there's a digital clock up in the top corner. And he said, the weight will come on your digital clock. He said, even if we're closed, he said, it's always on. So if you're at 5 o'clock in the morning, there's no one around, and you've got a weighbridge near you, you can drive on, flicks up on the clock, and you go, oh, right, that's how it. And the other thing is, if you ever pull off and you think they've overloaded you, legally, you're allowed to go to the nearest weighbridge to get weighed. So if you get stopped and you're on the way to the weighbridge, you can turn around and go, I'm on my way to the weighbridge, and they'll let you go. Admittedly, if you get stopped and they say, I'm on the way to the weighbridge, and they say, where have you come from? And you say London, and you're in Leeds, they're not going to swallow that. But technically, if you think you're overloaded, when you pull off a site, if you go straight to the weighbridge and get weighed and you're overloaded, you can take it back and you can say, this is too heavy, take it off. And you can't be done. So, yeah, I think you can go back and take it off, I'm not sure. Normally there's a weighbridge close by. How you find the nearest weighbridge, I don't know, which is why we have the channel, so someone can tell me. There might be an app for it, I don't know. What else have we got? Nathan Ebdale. Need a bit of help here again, guys. Oh, damn, so I've got to go and get in a minute. He said, I presume it must be to do with like multi-drops. He said he fits a run lock system. He's an engineer type of guy, and he said I fit a run lock system, and this system basically keeps the engine running. You can lock the doors with the engine running. He said if someone jumps in, it cuts out. If they put their foot on the accelerator, brake or clutch, it cuts out, so you have to reinsert the key. I'm not completely au fait with run lock system, but he said he was thinking about going with one of these run-lock systems, but a lot of people have said it's a very bad idea. So if any of you guys out there know anything about run-lock systems, pros and cons, please let me know in the comments, because you can message me, don't bother putting me on Facebook, I don't read it anymore. Put the message underneath the comments, because what I do every Sunday is I go through the comments and I write them all down, and then I can talk to you guys and we can work it out. So if anyone knows anything about run-lock systems, please let us know. Right, now we come at the main areas. Fuel cards. We've got UK fuel cards. C11 Yan also says UK fuel cards, very good. He says you can also, for I think it's about £2 a month, you can get like fill me in again, mate. I'm a bit vague. Like a tracker thing, which plugs in and you can see where the drivers are. £2 a week or £2 a month or something like that, probably £2 a week. And you can see where the drivers are. They've got their own separate tracker, as opposed to on the CX, which obviously if they're doing jobs which aren't on the CX, like end user jobs, you can still see where they are. But I'm a bit vague about this. I think his name's Ian. So fill this in, mate. I'll give them the full rundown next week. But yeah, that's one. There is the two that seem to come out are UK Fuels, which are the ones that we use, and also Fuel Genie. A lot of people say about Fuel Genie. My mate, I believe Simple Brian, uses Fuel Genie. Gold Ink and Adam Scher also mentioned a Fuel Genie, I believe. Chris Jones says the best value fuel is Costco's, which comes down to the supermarket thing again. I believe if you've got a fuel card, the fuel from branded stations like Esso, Texaco, Shell becomes cheaper. I know that I can get on motorway service stations now from the BPs. I'm getting the same money as I used to get from supermarkets, give or take. One guy did make a point. He said sometimes even the supermarkets, even with a fuel card, the supermarkets come in cheaper. And then there's this big question about the difference between supermarket fuel and branded fuel, BP, Esso, that kind of stuff. And according to Gary John Baker, and again, I think I've read this right, it's all loaded at the refinery, is all the same. So the same fuel goes out to everybody, except there's like an additives that they add. So it's that they get different order numbers depending on which station it's going to. So they load like the petrol, and then depending on where it's going, if it's going to Shell or if it's going to like BP or something like that, they'll put different additives in, and these additives are supposed to keep your van cleaner. And that's why I'll be back in a minute, because I forgot something. And I'm back in the room. Right, so I, being a cheapskate that I am, have just been using supermarket fuel for the last 20,000 miles since I bought the van, and if you guys flagged up a little bit about cleaning injectors and putting additives in your fuel from time to time to keep the vehicle running. So I did what I always do. I went on Amazon, because Amazon uses delivery drivers and Amazon's cheap and the whole world is your market, and Amazon is the reason why I went out of business as a market trader. So if you can't beat them, join them. And I bought two things, and before I put them in my van, and someone says, don't do that, you'll blow the engine. We have got these. We've got this diesel Power Blast, and we have got this. Now, K2. Now, my friend Ken told me about this a little while ago, but you kind of, it all comes a bit of a melee, and I'm not really sure. Apparently, diesel Power Blast cleans the injectors, which can get clogged up from time, but as you keep using them and they don't get cleaned out properly, they'll get cleaned out. And if you've got to get a new set of injectors for your Mercedes, it ain't cheap. And the K2 thing, that cleans the DPF filter, which I believe is the thing that stops all the horrible, nasty gases coming out into the atmosphere, and it's like a catalytic or something like that. So what I presumably will do at some stage is chuck these in the tank, and it'll clean the DPF filter. And should I use them? Do you use them? How often do you use them? The problem I've got is I've got no frame of reference here, because I might not use them and the injectors might go, and I'll go, I should have used them, or I might use them and the injectors might go anyway, or I might cause injectors to go. So before I do anything, help guys, to the more experienced people out there that know all about it, give me a shout and let me know if you've used it, if you recommend using it, if you've had any problems with it. And then depending on what you guys say, I will bow to your better knowledge on the subject. Anyway, what else we got on this? Before we leave it, I've meant to mention this actually. Daniel Garumba says the eRoute app. Yeah, we use that as well. You get the eRoute app and it will show you the nearest stations, and you can go on it and you can work out which stations you want. So we use BP UK Fuels, and like all the Apple Green stations, they're UK Fuels, BP Motorway, BP Services. Or you just use your UK Fuels depending. You can also select other stations. It's not 100%. One of our drivers, Richard, had a problem in the fact that it took him to two petrol stations that when he found out they were both shut, which is not ideal, but it still works. It's worked pretty much for me. It's worked most of the time. So, and just on a final note, Fuzzy FTW said red diesel is best. Mate, you're not allowed to run with red diesel. Tell me if I'm wrong, but from my lorry driving days when I was on the market and I had a 7.5 tonner, I believe you can use red diesel if it's like plant or if you're on site. But if you get caught driving down the motorway and you've got red diesel in your tank and they dip you and they go, this is red diesel, they will throw the book at you. You're not allowed to use red diesel. You've got to use normal diesel because they get the tax out of it. I think. I could be wrong. Let me know. So that was kind of that one. Right, just a little interim here. Frans van Schwalk. I'm not quite trying to pronounce your final name. Sorry, mate. I had a chat with him during the week. He's coming into it. He's just getting himself set up in a new van. He's kind of said, again, question for the forum out there. Question for all the boys out there. Does anyone know out there of a factoring company that does starters? Because most factoring companies I know, you have to be in business for 6 months, you have to have books, you have to have some kind of proof of revenue before they'll take you on, which is a kind of, if you like, a little bit like, we'll lend you the umbrella when it's not raining type thing. You don't need them if you've been running for 6 months. But if you've been in business, I mean, I was in business and then I swapped businesses, so that's how I managed to do it. But so if anyone knows out there of a factoring company or someone for people that are getting started, let me know and I'll pass it on. Yeah, that's kind of that one. Yeah, and then we come down to the Road Warrior app. Adrian Dobson says he's been using it for 2 years. He said he's got the paid version, and the paid version is £2.92 a month. Well, that you can live with. Like I said, the one that I got originally, which was kind of slicker, and I think did kind of work with Google Maps. But if you want to do like more than 10, it was like 30 quid a month. Oh, this is the way the world is going now, though. You know, like your QuickBooks, they used to sell you the software and then you add it for life. Now they rent it to you for like £18 a month. Yeah, you get all the free updates. Windows will go the same way. You can't buy Outlook anymore. You can, but sooner or later it'll be you rent Outlook for this much money. It's just the way it's going to go. I spoke to a software. I did a job moving some TVs, and the guy was all glued up to the software thing. Games eventually. You won't be buying the game for 50 quid. You'll be buying a game for a £5 a month, for as long as you want to play it. Like, you know, so that's good news for the youth out there. Brilliant. Well done. But but £2.92 a month is not too dear, and he says you can change the start location, you can change the end location, you can work out whether he wants to go a direct route or whether you want to go a round trip. He said it's brilliant. I mean, I don't use multi-drops that much. Most drops I do are single drops, hot shots directly there, that's it. Occasionally I'll get 2 or 3 drops. Normally, like if I get a job out of like the fridge delivery job, they give you the route in order. So I actually know they're actually very, very good. Like I say, there's another one. I pick up the air conditioning machines. Haven't been too clever recently. Like I say, I had one, and it went from he said it was GL17 to like SL, and then GL12 or something like that. And it was like that. It was a zigzag all over the shop, and I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to do it in that order. So I put it into Road Warrior, and it went bing, 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 bing. I went, okay, fine. I mean, in fairness, I probably could have worked it out anyway, but it's all right if they're far apart. Because you go, well, I know where that is, I know where that is, I know where that is. But say, for example, it's like 2 in OX2, an OX3 and an OX4, and you're like, well, I don't really know which way to do this, because sometimes postcodes can be misleading. Like the one I had the other day when I was in Wandsworth way, and a job come in for M1. I thought M1, that'd be North London, that won't be far away. It was Hackney. It took me an hour and a half to get it. Again, 10 miles, hour and a half, all the way across London. Still got it on, got the job done. There we go. What else? Yeah, Jason go. Again, why doesn't it's? I think Google Maps is missing a trick here. Google Maps, I don't understand why Google Maps don't do a thing where they can add where you can do multi-drop on it. Even set it as Google Maps Premium, because then you'd be on Google. And, you know, a lot of us use Google. I use Waze personally. I think it's the best one. But a lot of people use the Google. But wouldn't that be handy? And finally, the last word on this one is from Steve Davis, who said he used to use these things until he found out how good TomTom was. So Steve recommends he said the TomTom 620 Pro. Now, I could use one that actually tell me height and width restrictions, because there's a few times where you get taken down and you go, this van ain't going under that bridge. But he said it's not cheap, but very, very good. It links with the phone, live updates, traffic updates. I mean, it's all singing and all dancing. So maybe if you are, if you're thinking of going the extra mile, maybe have a look at it. I'm sure they do like videos or something. You can go on YouTube and check it all out, that kind of thing. But yeah, have a look at it. I don't know. I don't use it. I'm use the cheap ones. I use Waze, and if I have to pin the things, I put it into Road Warrior. But then I can see the apps. Then I can see the drops in order, and I just put the next one into Waze as and when I use it. I think there were some other bits and pieces, but I've forgotten them. So that's kind of it for today. Yeah, that's it. So it's a lovely bank holiday weekend. Make the most of it. Enjoy the sunshine. Get yourself down the supermarket. Sausages and burgers on a barbecue. Bing bong. Have a wonderful time. Hope you're well. Take care, take money.